Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sino Junior Reporter Program. I'm Mabel C. Thank you very much for coming to our first of the 6 webinars by Sino Junior Reporters Program. And I think some of you have actually come to my journalism workshops before, so it's good to have you back. And today we're going to start with the first webinar. When I was a child, I'm very simple. I wanted to be a teacher. And that was actually my first career. And then I wanted to do a special type of teaching, which is special education. And the idea behind it is that I wanted to help someone. But always I feel like, I want to write at the same time. So on this other side of the screen, maybe some of you have also had this feeling, like when you want to do something, but what do your parents want you to do? And my parents are, of course, traditional types of parents, and also parents who love me very much, who think that I'm very important, I'm very good, and so I can be a lawyer or a doctor. This is very typical. But I really, really appreciate that they have a lot of confidence about me and my ability. And I started writing for 2 big organizations, news organizations in Hong Kong, including SCMP and also TVB Pearl. And for SCMP, I also wrote for different columns and different sections of the newspaper. And then for TVB, because I was an anchor and also documentary producer, so I was mainly writing documentary. And then I also moved on to corporates, and then I started writing about communications materials. And all these types of writings are very, very different. And I'm going to show you how different they are. So journalism is very much about facts. And if you've come to my workshops before, you've already learned a lot of the skills that I, was trying to share with you in the courses. And the facts are the soul of the writing. They want to know what happened. They want to know the basic facts, and they want to know a lot of the elements about who, what, when, where, why, and how. And in journalism, if you study journalism or if you go to any courses related to journalism, they always talk about this inverted triangle. When you read a piece of news, you always go from something that is most important at the top, which gives you all the basic information that you need to know about a piece of news. And then, if you still have space and also more length to play with, then you will start to write about some of the important details and maybe also people's quotes. Maybe you interview someone about the piece of news and then you talk about what they talk about. And in the end, then you give the background information of an organization or of an event. Being a journalist, helps you to be inquisitive. You would actually learn to ask a lot of questions because you have to write a story, right? So you have to learn to ask questions so that you can write stories. And you would also learn to listen more. The most important thing in journalism is to listen to people's story. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's actually more about them. You want to find out what happens to them. You want to find out where they're actually coming from. You want to find out what happens and also what happens afterwards and how you get to the point where you get to. And you want to understand more, and then in the end you will reflect on yourself and then you try to understand what is your responsibility, what is my responsibility. If you want to be a writer, what should you do? And I'll tell you my experience. You write. You actually start writing now. A lot of people would ask me, how do I start? Where do I start? I tell you the first exercise is this exercise. You sit down every day for 10 minutes and then you just write. In older days, people don't use computers, still today, I like to have a notebook. I always have a notebook in my bag, and whenever I travel, I always bring a notebook and a pen. You write down everything that's inside your head. You write down everything that you want to do. And the second one is diary is actually the best thing that you can do. Everyone can actually write in a diary. And I actually started my writing in a diary when I was a child, that was just my habit. And I write every day. And a diary is easy in a way that because you write about your feelings, you write about what you think about and what happens during the day. And then the other thing is that, you can actually start a blog easily these days, on Google or on any platform. A lot of people knows how to do it, and then you even are given a format, when you go to a certain kind of platform, you already see a blog and then you choose your format. And I would really suggest you do that, because that is the first step when you want to write something for another person, not just to yourself. The first two exercises are actually mostly for yourself to practice. But if you want to go to the next step of actually having that courage to write something semi-open, you start a blog. Final advice for you, if you want to be a writer, is that writing is actually a journey, not a destination. Don't think of it as a job. Don't think of it as something that ends. Think of it actually as a process. And in the process, you'll be able to find the next destination and then the next destination.